You guys have asked, and I'm going to deliver. The PD300X versus the PD200X. By popular demand, people are wondering whether it's worth spending the additional 40, 50 bucks to jump up to the PD300X from the 200X, or if you don't have the 200X, which one should you go for? Save a few bucks or spend a few bucks? And is there really a difference between these two microphones? Significant differences? Probably not. We're gonna find out in this video. Put these two guys head to head, do some tests side by side in USB and an XLR to see which one sounds best out of box, and probably with a little bit of XLR testing. And not gonna really go into the EQing because, well, you can make them sound pretty nice with either device. Let's just jump into it. Round one. Let's look at the hardware. Starting with the PD200X, you don't get the premium feel you get with the 300X in that there's more plastic and it's more lightweight and kind of feels a little bit cheaper on the build side from the 300X, starting with the shock mount, which is all plastic and is much smaller. The 300X is a bit bigger than the 200X right here in your face. It's also plastic. The other differences is that it's RGB here in your face. You get a little RGB ring, which you can turn on or off. You got your monitor mix knob here. You got a USB-C connection on the back. You got XLR. You got your audio aux port on the back for monitoring. Same deal on the 300X. You have all those very same ports. Outside of that, they are very much the same. You see that the pop filters are a bit different. This one here on the 300X looks more like the Fifine K688 with this particular velvety smooth pop filter you got. And on the 200X, you have a little bit thinner pop filter, and it has this little plastic ring on here. You'll see on the capsules of these two devices that the capsule on the 200X recedes a little bit further back than the 300X. Looking at the 300X, well, full metal build from the shock mount, better shock mount rubber system you got going on versus here, which are some thin little rubber bands. Monitor mix button is the same as well on the 300X as on the 200X, except that it doesn't have that RGB or colored ring that gives you a little indicator. Instead, they've brought over the 400X dots to show you your levels. The big downfall of the hardware really on the 200X is the mute button. It's really loud. This is the 300X mute. Very rubbery button, right? A little bit of a click, but nowhere near the clack you get with a 200X. Monitor mix buttons are generally about the same. That's the 200X. Here's the 300X. Little less of a thump on the 300X, not so bad. Of course, on the hardware side, I got to give it to the 300X. It is just a lot more refined and improved from the 200X microphone. Starting with the PD300X. In your face, Legacy Gamers. This is the USB audio quality out of box. I have no filters running or any sorts of EQ on it at all. And you can definitely really dress up the 300X with the new version of the Maono application, which makes it sound super sweet and create multiple different kinds of profiles with the 300X. 200X is not yet up to par with the new software version, which I guess Maono's working on that and bringing their older mics or recent mics up to the new version of the Maono app. Here we are at max volume with the 300X. It is really loud. It has a big pickup, and with this mic, you can sit back and it's going to get you a foot away or even more. All right, let's switch over to the 200X. PD200X in my eardrums right here, Techies and Gamers. Off the rip, I can already hear there's like a little bit of a difference in the standard profile. Does a little bit better job at rejecting audio or background noise, ambient noise, but I hear like a little bit of a high pitch from my fans, and it has a nice bass profile. I hear it capturing that mid-tone. That mid-range is nice, But there's a little bit of sibilance, which is quite annoying, and it feels like there is more sibilance than the 300X, but it sounds pretty good in my flying ears. Plosives with the PD200X. Here we go. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher profusely. That's pretty good from the front. A little bit of distortion, but not much. Over to the 300X with Plosives. Here we go. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher profusely. It's really about the same, honestly. I couldn't tell the difference there. Sibilance, while we're here with the 300X, let's go ahead and do it. Caesar ate a salad by the seashore with Susan in a sauna. I can hear some sibilance. Yeah, it kind of makes my ears ring a little bit. Sibilance with the 200X. Here we go. I know it's going to be a little bit more, but why not? Caesar ate a salad with seashores. What? Caesar ate a salad by the seashore with Susan in a sauna with the PD200X. Yeah, that definitely hurts my ears just a little bit more. I hear that sibilance very squeaky on the high end. So 300X has a little bit of a win here with the sibilance under control. Here we are with the PD300X in XLR. Did you hear that? Did you hear my wrist crack when I twisted it? Pretty loud. And it's going to pick up my oxygen, PC fans, all sorts of ambient noise because, well, now you got the full-on throttle of the 300X. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, clipped it to the... That's too loud. The 300X has a lower pickup range. You can get more rumble and bass in it. But when you switch to the 200X, hear that? A lot of the low end drops off. So it's not as much low end as the PD300X, but there's a lot of high end, and I can get my earphones to ring if I get close to it. So this is the 200X in close proximity. What do you think of this audio? Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher. It's pretty rich. ASMR? Probably yes. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher profusely. Sounds pretty decent as well. A little bit more control of that high end, so I'm not getting that squeakiness. Here we are with the PD300X and some nice noise suppression. What does this audio quality sound like in your face? Caesar ate a salad by the seashore with Susan in a sauna. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher profusely. Let's switch over to the 200X. With a little bit of noise suppression, I feel a big presence of that bass there. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher. Peter Piper picked a pack of Pepsis, popped them, poured them into a pitcher. This one's pretty close because the 200X sounds good in my ears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the 200X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with the 300X. So what do I think overall of these two microphones? I think they are both fantastic, but who's the real winner here? Again, with Maono microphones, it's hard to choose because, well, at least if they're supported by the Maono Link software, you basically can change the way any of these microphones sound. But just going out of box via USB and XLR with these microphones, they are fantastic, both in USB and XLR. Build quality, structure, durability, options, features, and that sort of thing. There are more on the 300X because of the software. Well, at least right now, because the 200X isn't supported by the new software. With the 200X, you still have the older version of the software. So there's only but so much you can do with that, but you can still manipulate that EQ and make it sound pretty decent as well in USB. To your and my surprise, switch over to the 200X. There are some instances where the 200X sounds better than the 300X. In that mid-range to low range, I feel like the 200X does a better job than the 300X. You might have to put some high-pass filter to subdue some of that bass because it is pretty bassy and rumbly in comparison to what the 300X has. So there's some high-pass and low-pass filtering going on with the 300X, and it keeps it pretty balanced so there's not too much of anything going on. So it's kind of out of box ready. Plug it into a console, into a computer. Not really much you really have to do with the EQ because it is pretty good and there's nothing that's going to really irritate you or cause issues on the lower high end so much. You get that high sizzly buzziness and more sibilance, right, going on with the 200X. I can't really make a decision here. I like the way both of these sound. So I think that at the end of the day, it really comes down to what you prefer to see. How do these microphones look in comparison to each other, right? Both of these microphones sound fantastic. I think that the bass sounds better though. The mid-range and bass is a little bit better, maybe just a little richer, I think, for me, with the 200X. This is why this is still sitting in my environment, in my studio for the past couple years. And I can't let it go because it sounds really good. And it's a contender with some of these higher end, higher range, higher priced microphones, including the 300X and 400X. I might have to put this up against the 400X, the 200X, to see how that fares against that, because it is still a pretty good, rich sounding microphone. But if you're interested in seeing how the 300X fares against the 400X, check out that video right there and you will see the full-on breakdown between that battle. And you'll be surprised to see, or maybe not, who won that. All right, and with that, I'll see you in that video. Later.